Hey everyone, I'm Aaron from Low and Slow Basics, and in this video we're going to be cooking a pork belly in the drum smoker. It's going to be a bit of a different method to what we've done in the past, so make sure you stick around. Now if you're new to our channel, please consider subscribing, that way you won't miss any of our future videos, and it's a great way to show your support as well. So to get started, we're going to set up our drum smoker. Right, so real simple stuff, just going to get a couple of fire lighters in with our briquettes. If you want to use lump charcoal, feel free to use that also. And then we're just going to let them burn out, let our briquettes catch a light. While that's happening, we'll get our pork belly prepped. Right, so the pork belly. We've got this beautiful little 500 gram piece we picked up from our butcher at Austral Meats. They've done the hard work for us because they've let it hang in the cool room for a couple of days before I've purchased it. If you've bought one from a supermarket, your best bet is to get it out the night before, pat it dry, leave it uncovered in the fridge overnight, and that's really going to help draw that moisture out on top of the skin and under it, and it's going to really help with your crackling formation later in the cook. And to assist with our crackling formation, we are going to jacquard the skin. If you've got a corn cob holder or something like that, you can pierce the skin all over with that. But this is a jacquard. They come in different shapes and sizes. This is going to just pierce the skin and help really draw any moisture out sitting underneath the skin, which is obviously going to help us with crackling formation. And then we've just got a razor as well. You don't have to do this, but we're going to score it as well. So we'll get stuck into doing that. And then you don't have to do this, but we are going to season the meat side only with our steak shooter rub. Right, so now our fire lighters have burnt out. We're going to open our vents right up, shut our lid. We'll open our top vent right up as well, and we'll start getting this smoker up to temperature. So for the first part of this cook, I want our smoker temperature to be at around the 300 Fahrenheit or 150 Celsius range. So we've got about 10 or 15 minutes before we get there. So we're going to get this pork belly on a hook. All right, so we're right on our target temperature. I've got a nice little chunk of peach wood from Natural Smoke ready. That's as big as you need to go for a chunk of meat that size. So let's get this pork belly on. All right, so we'll open our lid up, get our smoking wood on. Then we got our attachment so we can hang our pork belly. I'm going to slot that right in there. And then we've got our beautiful pork belly here, all seasoned up, ready to go. I'm going to hang that over this side so the skin is facing towards the fire source. Now we're going to close our lid and we're going to keep this stable at 300 Fahrenheit or 150 Celsius. So now our pork belly's on, we're just going to leave it and we'll come back and check on it in about 45 minutes. If you've got a meat probe, now's a good time to put one in if you want to use one, and we're going to take this until we reach an internal temperature of 185 Fahrenheit or 85 degrees Celsius. That's a really good internal temperature for pork belly because a lot of that fat is going to render down by the time we get there. So we'll come back soon once we get to that target internal temperature, and then I'll show you what we're going to do for the second half of this cook to build our crackling up. All right, it's been just shy of an hour. Let's open this thing up, have a look, and have a check of our internals. Oh, that is looking and smelling amazing. Starting to get a bit of crackling formation already, which is a good sign. Let's have a check of this internal. We are very, very close. I reckon another 5 or 10 minutes. And we'll be getting this thing out to build the crackling. All right, it's been about 10 minutes. We've hit our target internal. I'll show you what we're going to do next. All right, so firstly, we're going to take our pork belly out for a couple of minutes. And I'm just going to swing our arm out the way, lift our charcoal basket out for a sec, pop our heat deflector in, and then we're going to put our charcoal basket back on top of that so we can get a bit closer to the heat to build that crackling. Right, and now what I'm going to do to make this crackling pop is we're going to wipe the skin nice and dry with some paper towel. Now you can either use some white vinegar or olive oil I'm using for this part. And we're just going to give it a very, very light brush, very, very light. We don't want to be caking this on. Just a very light coverage is all you need. That is plenty. And then we're going to get a second hook in so we can hang this belly upside down, direct, skin facing down towards our briquettes. We're just going to put it in there like so, and then we're just going to hang it direct over the charcoals. So we'll get that back in. There is one hook. We'll be super careful. Get our second one on. So there's some pretty intense heat coming from that. Now we've raised up our charcoal basket. So we're going to close our lid, and I reckon this crackling should be done in 5 or 10 minutes. We'll check it after a few minutes and come back. Right, it's been just over 5 minutes. Let's get this thing out and have a look. A little bit overdone where it's bubbled out. But that crackling is set. Let's get this out. All right, let's waste no more time. Let's get nice and close up on this thing, cut it open and have a taste. Right, we got the Dow Strong Chef Cleaver Hybrid here. Safe to say that crackling has set all over. Let's flip this over. Super crispy crackling. Look how tender and juicy that is. That is unbelievably tasty stuff. Seriously, that crackling. Oh, so good. And the meat, that fat's rendered down nicely. It is a little bit of a fatty piece, but sometimes you can't help that. But seriously, tender. Oh, such a good flavour. That steak shooter just gives it another nice level of flavour. That nice subtle peach smoke. And just hanging it directly over the coals for the first part of the cook just creates another level of flavour when you've got that fat dripping down, charring up, creating that smoke. Oh, it's just such a good combination. Beautiful, tender, juicy as. What more do you want in a pork belly? Honestly, one of the best pork bellies I've done. Taking it off at that 185 Fahrenheit or 85 degrees Celsius is a really, really good texture. It's not overdone, but it's rendered down enough fat that it is just so perfectly cooked. So make sure you try that yourself if you've got a drum. If you've got any other questions, don't hesitate to drop them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.